What is up YouTube, it is Matty and welcome back to the How to 3-Star series. So I hope you're ready for this. I've got a good selection of Channel 9 raids and a Channel 10 kicker to boot for some brilliant 3-stars. And yep, the war is versus BDSM, and I will be showing the Persian War after. I'm trying to catch up and use my tiny little time slots as always to cram them full of videos. But yeah, this series I'm going to focus on detail. Now, what I mean by that is how important the little bits of detail are to a raid and how it can negatively affect you if you don't consider certain things. So yeah, we're going to kickstart with raid number 22 in this war, which is a raid by Brian. Let's go and have a little quick scout of the base and have a look at what we can see. So here's the base, you know, crystal walls. It's pretty low level Channel 9. Defense levels are halfway between Channel 8 and Channel 9, to be honest. Hero levels are pretty low, but it's, well, yeah, it's still, looking at the base, there's a couple of potential double giant bomb spots, but it's quite actually unlikely based on the base design that there's only double giant bombs here. Brian likes the look of the base for hogs. I suppose it's quite clear that the spring trap placement isn't going to be amazing because of how tight all the defences are in together. The Queen's quite accessible, and you know, it's just generally close together defences can make it an easy hog base. So let's have a look at the attack and talk through sort of what he does in it and how he's planned it. So he knows he's going to do a shattered hog attack, and that means shattered. All it means is 2 golems. He's going to use wizards to create his funnel. That's going to be key, and wall breakers to break in. Now it's important to note that the first point on detail I'll make is that you want to look where you're going to place your golems to send your troops in. Now Brian's highlighted that he wants to try and sort of almost jump into the core. So this wizard tower here, he's found a spot where he can get in, shall we say, by jumping over 2 sets of walls potentially. Now, to get to there, he's got a wall break in, and to do that, there's a lot of defences sort of on the outward layer of this base. So what he's going to do is drop the golems a little bit of a way apart and then wizards behind. What you need to consider is, like, okay, so the range of the air defense arch tower. So you've got, let's say you're going to place the golem on the corner right here. You need to make sure if you place the golem there and then you drop a wizard to the right of that gold storage, that arch tower is not going to cause that a problem. So what you actually need to do is, if I go back, it all comes down to scouting. You need to check the range of some of the defences. So you can see there, he knows if he puts a golem by that builder hut, it's going to go to that corner here. It's going to start breaking that wall. The cannon's going to be shooting it. The mortar will be shooting it by that point, and the arch tower won't. So you just need to make sure you don't drop a wizard within the arch tower range, otherwise it's wasted. Same with this one here. Although it's just worth checking the ranges of things. Same on the other side. So if you drop a golem sort of by this builder hut, it's going to go to, depending on which side you drop it, either this compartment or this compartment. Whichever way that golem moves, you need to be aware that the defense is in. So example, if you drop a golem on the corner over here, breaking into the arch tower, you've got to be aware that the wizard tower will be in range. So if you drop wall breakers next to it, they will die. So it's detail like that which makes a big difference. So let's have a look at Brian's attack and what he does. So he's noticed that there's quite a lot of defence this side, so he drops his golems down. Look, he's got a nice spread, careful wizard placement to make sure he gets the buildings actually die and the golems are targeted. And look, the thing he's also noticed is that there's a double Tesla spot here. So he drops 4 wall breakers down, and the key point of that is it costs 2 wall breakers to break that wall there. Because Skull and Crystal both take 2 wall breakers, but the fact that he's used 4 means he knew that he might lose two Teslas. So again, detail there. So that means because he broke through the wall, he didn't need to get his king to power through, who would have then let the golems die. And you know, it's just detail like that which can make a huge difference in a raid. So I'm going to click play. The wall breaks open now. Both golems redirect in because they weren't spread too far apart. He's used a rage spell for the witches to try and help take the CC down, the jump spell down as well. I'm going to zoom out here. He's going to be able to take the king down, the queen down, the whole of the CC, eliminate all those defences in the region as well, and yeah, be able to push quite nicely into the base. I don't know quite if he's going to be able to make the core, but the queen's shooting a lot of defences, and look, the hog attack's coming in. He's dropped most of his hogs down. A lot of the defences are distracted, so they're able to. He doesn't need to drop his heal spell too early, and then he drops his heal now, look, and then reinforces this group of hogs. He didn't know if there's a double giant bomb spot there, you see, so I think he was just being a bit cautious, but when the Tesla popped, he knew, and his hogs have been under healed pretty much the whole time. Now you can see in the core that a giant bomb's been triggered up there, which is great, and then heal spell for most of the next part of the raid. Now the queen's going to take down that one wizard tower. She's not going to take the next one down, but the hogs are in heal for the most of the raid. Now there is a wizard tower there, which is a slight threat, but the hogs have split, which is perfect. And he's just able to drop some wizards down now for the rest of the cleanup, and the hogs are going to clean up the left side of the base, and it's just that one Tesla to go, look, and now he's on for the 3-star. So for me, the thing that sold this base for the hogs is that all the defences were quite closely knit. It was an easy run round. The kill squad did a lot of damage, as in it was able to trip one of the double giant bombs, kill both the king and the queen, take quite a few defences down at the same time. So it was a powerful kill squad, and that little bit of detail of the wall breakers meant it made his job easier, because he thought of it, and clearly he'd taken the extra wall breakers in for that purpose. So moving on through now, I believe the next attack I want to show is number 14, JC. Yeah, another hog attack here. So it's again, actually, it's a pretty similar army comp as well if you look. Slightly different deployment though, and I think that's key. Now, so when you get the scouting right, you can get a lot done. Now what I've noticed instantly, and what JC noticed here, is that the wall layout down the bottom here means you can put a jump spell and jump straight through into the core. There's a potential double giant bomb there anyway between the air defense and the wizard tower. There's quite a few defenses down the bottom side down here as well, and there's potential giant bomb spots in the core, and the king and queen are next to each other. So what he does, which I think is a brilliant choice of attack for doing it, it's going to be a shattered hog. So sending 2 golems, one either side, sort of in the corners probably. Use wizards on those outer defences there to take out the outer buildings to funnel. Jump spell in, rush in some witches, both golems, king and queen, into the core, wreck that apart, and then just hog the rest of the base. And for me, that's a great strategy. I'd be concerned that there might be a double giant bomb sort of vertically placed at the top middle there. Not 100% sure, particularly since there's a hole in the top. Looks like he's tried to create space there. So that might be a double giant bomb. I'm not 100% sure. I really can't remember. So you might want to watch out for that. So let's have a look at the raid and see how it goes. Now, here we start. Let's have a look, waiting for the golems to be dropped. As you guys know, Larloon and Hogs are the easiest 2 ways to 3-star. Now you can see the wizard placement. He's checked that all those defences are going to be targeting the golems, which they are. He's managed to drop the wizards down so they take all those buildings down, and because he's sort of overspread the wizards, it means they're going to start taking the defences down, which again is quite key actually. Unfortunately his minion there got picked off by the arch tower, and that cannon just about survived. What I like is the fact that he amends that in a minute. You'll see his kill squad are going in now, so the witches, the king, the queen, and that cannon survived, so he thinks, let's drop 3 extra hogs in. If he'd have watched a bit closer, he'd have seen it would only been tiny bit health, so he could have got away with dropping 1, but they've moved on and they're distracting. Core's going down quite nicely, and then look at the top here, all the way around. You've got a giant or 2 to distract. You've got the hogs going in now, doing a pretty good job. Very late heal drop because he didn't quite need it. Look, there's the first giant bomb. I don't know if there's a second there. There actually wasn't in the end. It was a double spring trap. But he's saved it. He's got another heal spell anyway, and he's just trying to cover himself for the final area where it could be. And look, he's picked up the final giant bomb. So it could have been a double there, but it was actually a double bluff. In the end, the queen, the witches, everything's sort of alive in there. The king is full health as well, pretty much. Hogs, loads of them alive. And the reason this raid was an absolute whitewash is just a good plan delivered properly. So the fact he was able to take all those defences down behind the first layer of wall at the bottom, and that he dropped a couple of extra hogs in to finish it off because it didn't go down, that was great. The route into the core was perfect, killing both the king and the queen. That's a great for a hog raid if you can do that. And then the fact he eliminated firstly took one set of double giant bombs out of the kill squad, but secondly he had it covered almost if there was another. But it turns out that there wasn't a double giant bomb there, and he was able to get away with it anyway. But brought him a very clean, very nice 3-star for the clan, and that's great to see. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that one, guys. And it all does come down to those finer bits of detail. And you need to... Sorry about that, guys. Slight technical hitch on this video, so I think I've got it back to normal now. Just going to go back into the war and carry on through the raids to show you these the 3-star attacks I wanted to show. Moving up the rankings, we're on number 13 now with Nightmares on Wax. So this is the base, and what he's highlighted is that there's 2 air defences close enough together to be targetable, with a wizard tower in between, with some defences en route, with the queen there as well. And this is a perfect example of where the detail didn't quite work out for him, but he got away with it just about. And seriously, I failed a raid because of wall breaker placement, because of heal spell placement, missed lightning spell, what else? I mean, king going around the outside of the base, incorrect funneling. There's all sorts of reasons, and you need to think of everything when you do a raid. And if you rush an attack, like you only got 10 minutes to build an army and then 5 minutes to do the attack, you're probably going to fail, because that's the point where you it's good to take a good look at the base and understand and figure it out. But I like his plan. I would have done the same actually for this sort of base, because there's a few double giant bomb threats. I like the fact that the 2 air defences were close, so I'd have done the same strategy. And you can see the wizards behind, targeting each of the defences. There's only one way for the king and queen to go now, but look at the wall breaker timing. Straight into a mortar shell. They're all dead. So now he's got to break through, which is okay because the wizard has actually targeted the wall for him. So his golem's gone in. His other golem didn't. So... oh, now it's retargeted, look. And the CC are being pulled. So now the raid can carry on. His jump spell was there to help him get into the core. He needed that to... well, he didn't actually need it, to be honest, because if he'd got to the next layer of wall, he'd have been able to take both air defences, the queen and everything down that he needed to anyway. He's got to be careful because the queen is going to shoot the town hall, but the king has got enough health to throw the barbs onto the air defence and take it down. And now, because all that's done, he can use the hound, the loon drops, and actually get on with the main part of the raid. Look, so 2 air defences gone, expo gone, a couple of defences en route, a wizard tower down, queen down, CC down. With all those things, Larloon becomes a hell of a lot easier. So I like the way how patient he's being on the rest of the raid as well. Now the final hound goes down when the other hound just sort of needs it almost, because it's just popped. Beautiful timing there. Final few loons. He saved 1 loon for that back arch tower, I imagine. When it starts shooting something, I would imagine he's going to drop it on. He's sort of waiting at the moment now. I would have dropped that last loon a little bit sooner when it was already shooting the other loon, but he wanted to get a good timed spell, and in fact that pound just popped last second, which was absolutely awesome for him. So the raids actually turned out really nicely. He's going to have had like a minute left on the clock. All those pups, loons, everything ready. Queen left as well. I think there should be a wizard around somewhere, I'd imagine, as well. Archers on the bottom. Look, it's just a really nice raid, really nicely done. Shattered Larloon can be an absolute beast attack, but ideally you need 2 air defences, the queen, the CC, preferably an expo to go down as well. And with that, if you can get all that, no matter the layout, you can probably Larloon it. Anyway, so another great attack there. The final town hall 9 we're going to show is by Lou. We're going to click Scout because this is something a little bit different. It's not a hog or a Larloon attack. It's a Go Weaver or Varloon or whatever you call it. Now, what's key about this? And I say this every time. If you've got 4 air defences in the core, it's going to be vulnerable to Valkyries. So if you can guide those Valks to the core, get them in there, they'll just wreak havoc. If you can give them a rage and a heal spell as well, you know, you're asking for it. He's going to want to kill the queen en route as well. So the queen's up north, so that means he might attack through the town hall side. or he might bolster it up and try and push all the way through, which is risky. But I can't remember which way he attacks, so we're going to have to wait and see. And let's look at the plan and analyse it on the move and see what we can figure out. So firstly, before we start, he's got a couple of witches in for skelly distractions, 13 loons for the back end to take down those extra defences. So he's got 2 golems, 2 witches, 8 Valkyries, 8 wizards, and a giant. So the giant, he might, because he's got the witches and a giant, I imagine he's going to be trying maybe a CC pull. Let's have a look. Watch the raid start, because I'll figure out a lot of what's happening from the start. Can't even see. Okay, 2 golems are down, so he's going to be killing the witches on the move, killing the CC on the move. Giant down over on the left there to help his funnel. Look, he needed those buildings to go down to create the good funnel. And it worked on both those defences actually, because they both both those outer buildings, so they both went down. 2 witches are down as well, and now the golems are starting to move inwards. He needs something to get them into the core though, so it's going to be a nicely timed jump spell, I hope, which it is. Nicely placed, sorry. 1 golem is completely rerouted all the way around the base though, which is an absolute disaster. So it hasn't been a perfect raid by any stretch of the imagination. Now the Valks are sort of starting to move inwards now. The first heal spells to keep them alive against the CC, and now they're in the core, or just about to go in, and here comes the rage and the heal, and that's going to just rip that core to shreds quickly, and then it's going to be all the way down to the loon placement for to see how well this raid does or doesn't go. So 2 loons per defense, and you want to target the defenses that are able to target air, because as soon as they're down and there's nothing else left to shoot the air units, then it's raid over, because they'll just target but you couldn't target the arch tower straight away, and there is annoyingly placed Teslas as well, so that is something to consider. That arch tower is going to go down, and the Valkyries broke through and took that Tesla down as well, which was great. Few loons going to go up to the last arch tower, but they're going to die en route. They're too slow, too far to travel. But the beauty is his king and his queen are good health, and that's going to be the saving grace for this raid. So it wasn't perfect attack. 1 golem completely deviated off course, which could have cost him the raid, so he didn't have enough tanking in the front. But what it has meant is that firstly, his king and his queen are alive enough to be able to rage the king when he needs to give him that extra health and just keep him alive and take those buildings down. The queen's going to be key here, because she's going to be doing the remote fire, taking down the arch tower. Look, there that goes, and the king's broke through anyway, and now the raid's over. So it was a good attack. Few errors, but nicely. I like the fact Lou always just goes for the go weaver when he can. When you got those 4 defences in the core, it's just screams out for it. Anyway, moving through. Final video I want to show is number 5, and it's an attack by Azoz. Now this base is really interesting because you've got 4 air defences in the core. So it's almost like, oh, go Weaver. You can't really go Weaver at Tunnel 10, because they'll get melted by the Infernos. Although you can freeze them, so maybe. But what he actually does for this attack, which is really cool, is he does like a go wee wee, or a go wee wipe, with back end loons. Because look, if he gets all those air defences down, sitting duck. So let's just watch it. I can't analyse Tunnel 10s too deep, because I'm not a Tunnel 10 myself. But look at this. So 2 golems down, 3 witches down at the start as well, 3rd golem in, wizards down to start funneling on the left, and 4 golems down. So sorry, I was incorrect before. So he's got 4 golems going into the core now. Jump straight in as well, which is brilliant. That's, if you can do that, that's great. Funneling doesn't look quite like it's worked. That wizard needs to take that lab down. You don't want to pull the queen all the way to the left, but you can see the freeze spell now is his troops are going in. He's got that lightning as well to help take down the CC. So the king's going in, the queen's going in, and now it can start. He needs a lot of that core to go down. He needs a lot of those air defences to die, and look, he's just being careful on the loon deployment. Needs to make sure that those air defences go down, which they have. Units are distracted as well. The loons are just starting to come around the base now, take down those defences. Top side have just been targeted, left side cannons, look, so everything's getting targeted, and the loons are going to pull even closer in. And what the the beautiful part of this is that the Queen's got good health, and the Queen's going to be the saviour of this raid, because she's going to walk around, look, and just start killing those distracted buildings, because she's not getting targeted, because the arch towers are shooting the loons, and it's too little too late there. Now when she uses the ability, about now I would have imagined, any time now, she's going to be able to just rinse those final defences, and all those outer ring defences have gone down because of the loons. So now final arch tower look, and then it's just clean up. So a very, very nice attack. It's a poorly laid out Town Hall 10. It was very vulnerable to that sort of attack, but still, it takes skill to be able to deliver this sort of raid, and you know, analyse it enough to get it right and be able to get the 3-star. So huge sort of shout out to Azaz for getting the job done, and bringing home a solid 3-star for the clan. So yeah, great. Some nice variety of attacks this war, which is what I enjoyed to show. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching some serious 3-starring, and I'll as always subscribe to my channel. You know, I'm quite active on Twitter as well, so at Clashing Matty. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.